What's up guys, another video here. I'm excited for this one. It's my very first fully built engine. I'm gonna put it together today, get it in the car, and we'll get the ball rolling on getting this running. If you didn't know, my AE86 used to have a K20 on throttle bodies. Sounded like a Corolla should. It's a bit quicker than what a Corolla should be, or from like what most people see Corolla drifting. But it fit the character of the car and I absolutely loved it. I've started using it for more and more competitions and it's just not competitive. So I'm lucky enough and I've scraped together what I can and I'm building my very first engine. The difference is it's going from a 2 litre to a 2.4 and it's high compression. So I'll quickly show you the block now. So obviously this is now a 2.4 litre, which just means the deck height's taller, so it has a bigger stroke and the pistons are slightly bigger. I've got some Wasner high compression pistons. Unfortunately, we end up actually going to a higher compression piston than what we originally wanted, but we've compensated with a thicker head gasket, so it'll end up being a 12.5 to 1 compression. And then I'll quickly flip it over. We also have the Wasner A-beam rods. So this should make for a very reliable and high horsepower NA setup. All of the machining on this block was done by DY Engine Services. Yeah, so I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna start putting it all back together. I've got an array of parts here. So hopefully this should be a very interesting and spicy NA motor, but still keep that Corolla film vibe. So let's get to it and let's get it in the car. I thought I'd quickly show you guys the engine and where I'm up to so far. So obviously it's got Wasner pistons and rods. The bottom end was machined and assembled by DY Engine Services. 4-piston racing ported oil pump, drag cartel timing gear set. So essentially this obviously little keyway sits into the crank, and the only thing which actually holds your chain and oil pump drive to the crank, obviously it's pressured to the crank, but is this little dowel pin, and essentially they potentially have a chance of snapping. So what they do is they still retain that dowel pin, machine out so you can put the keyway through it, and machine this out to the keyway, then goes the entire way through both of them and locks it together, meaning that there's less chance of that ever breaking the back of the dowel. And if it did break the back of the dowel, the keyway should still keep it rotating, keeping your engine in time so you don't destroy this, and keeping your oil pump spinning. So it's definitely worth the investment if you ask me. Drag cartel cam gears, Born 32 are cams and VVTI and VTEC delete. I think that's the most of it so far that's of interest. So obviously now the sump can go on, which is from K Miata. There's an E30 swap sump. Front cover can go on, and then we can build it up and put it back in the engine. In the car. So I got a little bit excited there. Might have finished the engine and forgot to film. So the clutch is all up, obviously done. Next up, gearbox going, starter, and we can slowly get on with it. So the engine is in. I can now get obviously all the intake and everything on, put all the harness on and get it ready. Had apart all of the Gem Vs, giving them a nice clean up, ready for the new engine setup. Injectors out, they've all been flow tested and cleaned, so again they should be ready to go. We'll get these back on the car, and I think after that it's the water system and then start bleeding things up. Sorry if the timeline seems to be a bit choppy and the clips don't always make 100% sense. I do this after work. This is my own car, my hobby, passion. So it's fitting it in around work and evenings here and there. I'm fortunate enough that Bagsley lets me use his facility and build my own cars, so I can't complain there. I think this is where this one's going to be left. Obviously, I have now bled up the rad around the electric water pump, so I can do it without actually running the engine, which is a godsend. I tend to leave this in overnight if I'm not in a rush, and I'll mark where it is. Obviously, you can then see if it's had any air pull into it or if it's leaked anywhere. A couple of little bits to do, like I need to tighten up this nut and trim a few cable ties, but I think everything's intake's on, obviously all the wiring I think is plugged in, bled this up now. When I come start it, I will use an electric pump and prime the engine and then crank it over until it sees full oil pressure, and then I'll put the spark plugs back in and start it. So I think that'll be it for this one. Obviously in the next one, Wharton is going to make the manifold, I'm going to make the exhaust, and then hopefully start the car and get onto the dyno. We'll see how the video goes. That's it so far. Obviously, I've got to say a massive thank you to Wasner Pistons for getting involved. They're supplying the rods and pistons and helping me with this build. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible. So a massive appreciation, and I'm very excited to see how this car sounds and performs. Obviously, it was 236, I think, horsepower before. So now going to a 2.4, high compression, and a few other little tweak bits here and there. I think it should be quite exciting. I'm still trying to keep the AE86 Corolla essence, so I think this setup should do it perfectly. So hopefully it means that when we come to LZ World Tour and a few other demos and things, it's a little bit more competitive and I can drive all them fast 1,000 horsepower cars, because 200 wasn't cutting it. But again, thank you very much. See you in the next episode when we get on with the exhaust.